A great headline is the backbone of any feature, whether it's on a website or in a magazine. It's this headline that will make a potential reader excited about what they are about to read. It's also what will catch the editor's attention when you email your pictures into them. This is so important as you don't want your well-crafted pitch to fall at the first hurdle. Freddie Starr ate my hamster is probably one of the most quoted headlines ever from the Sun newspaper. Personally, I have no interest in Freddie or what he eats, but I guarantee if I saw that on a newsstand, I'd take a second look and be a little bit curious about how that story unfolded. Even if you're not thinking about media coverage right now, you should still listen up, as the headline will be the thing that gets your e-newsletter opened, your social media post read, and your blog clicked on. As a journalist myself, I'm going to share with you why headlines are important, what makes a good headline, how to make sure yours speak to your audience, and how to overcome writer's block around headlines. Make sure you stick around until the end of this video, as I'll be sharing a great tool you can use to make sure your headlines are always cracking. I'd love to hear how you feel about writing headlines. Do you even think about them when you're writing your copy? Let me know in the comments below, along with any questions that you've got for me. So why are headlines important? Well, I've alluded to this already. The headline is the hook, the one thing that will draw attention to whatever it is you've written. 8 out of 10 people read the headline before making the decision to read on, so you can see why this short sentence shouldn't be overlooked. To be clear, I'm not talking about clickbait here, which is something completely different, and there's no place for it in the authentic work that we do. In the modern world, that Freddie story that I talked about earlier would definitely count as clickbait. The other important thing a headline does is give the reader an indication of the value they will get from the feature or blog, email or post. Why should they read it? What will they learn? What struggle will they overcome? Try to be too clever with your headline writing and you'll confuse them. And online, that's even more important because your headline is one of the things Google uses to help match relevant content with people who are looking for the answers. That hamster story might have sold a lot of newspapers, but unless anyone is actually searching Google for what did second division 1970s comics eat for lunch, it wouldn't do half as well online. In print, it's very different. Think about standing in front of a magazine shelf in a shop. Unless you know which magazine you're there to buy, you'll probably glance at a few, and I can guarantee it will be something written on the cover that makes you pick one up. You wouldn't believe how much time and work and effort goes into these cover lines. It's a big part of an editor's role to get readers to buy the magazine, so they have to be red hot at condensing a fascinating story into a 6-word soundbite. So let's touch on what makes a good headline. Headlines mean different things to different people, and not all of them have to be attention-grabbing in the traditional sense, but they do need to be honed to your audience. A great headline condenses the story and the benefit it brings to the reader into one easily digested phrase. Now, they should never be too long. 5 to 6 words is plenty, although shorter is always better. Often the case, isn't it? It might seem simple, but so many people forget to use words that mean something to their audience. Your headlines should be familiar to the potential reader. To reiterate, web headings are a whole different ballgame, as you need to be aware of what Google's robots are looking for. Keywords are important if your copy is going to be found in a search. Do your research first, and a good tool for doing this is a Chrome extension called Keywords Everywhere, and I'll leave a link to this in the description box below. The next point I'm tackling is how to make sure your headlines speak to your audience. Any headline you write is simply a reflection of the tone and voice of all your marketing content. Is your style friendly and chatty, serious, sensational? Your headline should be written in the same style. In our hamster example, friendly and chatty might be Freddie, how I lost 2 stone on the hamster diet. Serious would be TV star quizzed about hamster disappearance. And sensational would be something like Freddie Starr ate my hamster, which was the original. First impressions count, and you only get 1 or 2 seconds to grab people's attention. But the one thing you must avoid is over-promising in a headline, as that will quickly lose you trust and credibility. I've had it happen to me lots of times when I've seen a headline on a magazine and I thought, yeah, that's speaking right to me, I want to read that feature. And then you get the magazine home after paying your £4.50, £5, however much it was. And then you get inside and the feature really isn't anything like what the cover line says it's going to be like. And that is so disappointing. And it sort of makes you think, I'm not going to want to read anything in this magazine again. So make sure you don't overpromise with your headlines and disappoint people. A good thing to do, I would say important thing to do actually, is to read lots, scan websites, observe the advertising messages we're always surrounded by, and think about what is it that speaks to you and why. Consider what makes it effective and what you enjoy reading. What words speak to you? Is it long or short headlines that catch your eye? Then all you need to do is copy the feel of that tone whenever you write. A big tip is to study the front covers of magazines because they are the holy grail of headlines. What can you use too? We're not copying, of course, but taking inspiration from them. In time, you will develop your own voice and style and be confident using it across all your media platforms. So next, let's look at writer's block, those times when you just can't think of a good headline. The most common way to make this easier is to write the headline last, once everything has come together in your head and you've got it down on paper or on your computer. It's so much easier when you can see the story, as the main points will jump out at you. However, some great features are written by starting with the headline and creating the content that answer the question or explains the idea that the headline is talking about. When I work in magazines, we use both these systems regularly, so whatever works best for you is best. Having said that, you'll still need to put in the work to make sure the headline is as strong as you can get it. It's all about volume at this stage. Try writing out 10 to 20 potential headlines. Yes, really, that many. It might feel really difficult at first, but keep going and one of them will turn out to be gold dust. I promise you it will. And you'll be surprised how much the headline will evolve as you work on it. And just in case you missed it the first time, the value of a great headline is probably equal to the rest of the entire story in getting the biggest number of eyeballs on it. So don't see it as a horrible task. Treat it as a challenge. Play with the words and ideas and enjoy the process. So we've now covered the main points about writing a good headline, and I urge you to go away and do some practice. It's a skill that needs honing. No journalist is that good at headline writing at first. Now, I said I had a tool for you that's going to help you write headlines that convert, and I'll talk about that now. A powerful headline is one that evokes emotion and makes the potential reader feel something. So we need to work at ensuring we get that response. There's a headline checker that's going to help you with this. It's a free tool from the Advanced Marketing Institute, and I'm going to hop over to my computer now to show you how it works. So here I am on the headline checker, as I call it, but as you can see, the real title is Headline Analyzer. Now, this is a free tool, so obviously you get advertising on it, but you don't need to look at that. You just need to concentrate on what you're doing. And it's really simple. You can see there it's saying enter headline here, and that's all you do. You put your headline in there and then click the button that says submit for analysis. And I'm going to show you here how it works. So I'm going to start with a headline. So I'm thinking about perhaps writing on a guest blog, and it's going to be about money mindset. So my headline could be how to change your money mindset. And I'm going to submit for analysis, and then I get a score of 33.33%. And if you scroll down, it tells you a bit more about that. So this score indicates that your headline has a total of 33.33% emotional marketing value. So it's measuring the value from an emotional point of view of this headline. And I like the way they put this here. To put the score in perspective, the English language contains approximately 20% EMV words. For comparison, most professional copywriters' headlines will typically have 30 to 40% EMV words in their headlines. So, the score that we've got just there of 33.33% is pretty good because it's in line with a professional copywriter's headline. You could use that, obviously, but you could try again and see if you can get that score higher. The higher it is, the better. So over 30%, you're doing really well. And then if you can get it higher than that, then that's amazing. So I would just analyze again, which I'm going to do in a minute. But down here, it also tells you a little bit about what emotions you're capturing in this headline. And here we've got this analyzer telling us that this headline appeals equally to people's intellectual and spiritual spheres. So it tells you a bit about your headline, basically, which is also amazing. And then we're going to analyze again. This time I'm going to put how to change your money money mindset in 3 easy steps. Let's see what we get for that. Okay, so that's gone up a little bit. It's gone to 40%, which is pretty good. And it's an intellectual headline now. We've lost the spiritual part of it. So you could go with that. That's 40%. Amazing score. But I'm just going to try a couple more and see what happens. So I'm going to try, is your money mindset causing you to fail? Let's see how this one does. 50%. So I'd be really happy with that. I would use that. I mean, I'd be writing this blog for business owners, and I'm basically saying to them, if your money mindset is causing you to fail, you need to be reading this feature that I'm writing, or this blog that I'm writing. So that's how this works. What's it got here? It's back to spiritual now. It's weird, isn't it, how it changes like that? But I do enjoy looking at this. I'm just going to analyze one more to see if I can get that up a little bit more. Money mindset and success. What you need to know. I wonder if this will be more or less than 50%. We're going to find out. 40%. So still good. If you preferred that headline, you think it speaks more to your audience, then that's what you'd go with. But I'm just showing you how this works. You just keep analysing it until you get a score that you're happy with. And we've got intellectual and spiritual again, which I actually quite like. But I would be using the one before that scored 50%. So that's how you use this analyzer. And I will, as I say, make sure it's in the description box below for you, and you can play with it to your heart's content. Now, I said earlier in the video about how you need to make sure your headlines are speaking to your audience. And I've got a video about understanding your audience that I think you might find really useful. And I will make sure it's linked in the description box for you. Thanks for listening, everybody. And if you could find your way to liking this video, I'd be really grateful. See you next time.